It's Coach Greg Doucette, IFBB Pro Bodybuilder with my Master's in Kinesiology. And today I want to cover what's happening to Chris Bumstead, one of the top hopefuls for the Mr. Olympia title from Canada. He's placed second 2 years in a row, and he's had so much bad luck. And this time what happened, he now has a hernia. More specifically, an umbilical hernia. And I feel I'm kind of an expert on this because I had the same thing and had surgery in my prep for my shows. So I'll just start off by saying what it is. So basically, you have a weakening in the muscle that's surrounding your intestines, right at your belly button, okay? And so the muscle gets weaker, and then the intestine literally pokes through. And you see like a belly button kind of just popping out, okay? And that's what happens. And you might see Phil Heath had it last year, and he ended up with surgery for this as well. So Chris just got this to happen, and he's trying to get surgery as soon as possible as the Olympia's in September, and his plans are still to compete and still try to win. And so we'll see if this is in fact possible. What will it do to his vacuum pose? The whole thing. Okay, so it's painful and it pokes through and you can literally push it back in, and it can be a medical emergency if it gets too serious, but he doesn't have a very serious one. And so if he didn't get the surgery, it would for sure hinder his ability to do the vacuum pose the right way, and his shots would look just not as good because he's famous for his vacuum pose. That's really his signature pose. And so if you take that away, well, you're taking away his best, most famous pose. So what are they going to do? Well, what they do typically for a guy who's as strong as Chris, who can deadlift almost 700 pounds and squat 600 pounds, is they put a mesh. And so say it's about this big, a mesh, and it's around your stomach like here. So mine is literally here, okay? And it's to block the hole in here. So there's a mesh, and it's all like kind of sutured in all around. And this surgery, it put me in bed and couldn't get up for 6 days. It's not some little, no big deal type surgery. I couldn't eat. 5 days later, if I had to clear my throat, I had to hold a pillow over my stomach and go like, it is serious. It is not pleasant. When I did go to the gym on day 7, I walked 1.2 miles an hour on a flat, and I didn't train. The doctor said, do not lift anything over 10 pounds for 3 weeks. And then after 3 weeks till 6 weeks, kind of like be very careful. And so for 6 weeks, I did sets of 50 with like no weight. So Chris is basically going to have to do this. And if you push too fast, you get it torn again, and it just reoccurs, and it can get worse. And then you have to do surgery again. So if you try to rush it, you're screwed. You do not want to rush this surgery. So my opinion is it's going to dramatically affect his prep. However, last year he still managed to get second place after being in the hospital for almost a week with a severe kidney type infection. He has some kind of like kidney issue where he was holding a lot of water and he had to get on Lasix or some kind of diuretic at the hospital to get rid of it. He was holding all this water. It was a major problem, and if you follow him, you know that he's had some issues with his health last year. Hopefully it doesn't affect him this year. So he's going to try to go and win the Olympia. It's going to be hard, but he's basically already has a ton of size, and he just has to get shredded, which he can do. And so by then, it will be healed, and he will be able to pull off the vacuum as per always. The thing is, he won't be able to for a couple of months. It's just not going to work out the way he wants. In the future, he'll have to be careful with squats and deadlifts, anything super heavy that puts a lot of strain on your stomach. I actually did mine doing this exercise, bending forward and pulling the bar towards my stomach, and it just popped right out, and I was like, oh. And for I didn't get surgery right away, and I literally had to train and relax my stomach, couldn't flex at all, and just let my gut all hang out. and then do my sets because I couldn't contract the stomach muscles in that sense. And I did a show, and your belly button's popping out, and that's obviously all the comments because people love to hate on everybody. And so when your belly button's popping out and you have a hernia, oh, it's got GH gut, and I'm like thinking, no, I'm not. It's just something you need a surgery for. I was born with I had another hernia, and I had to get an operation when I was 4 years old. It's not GH gut or some kind of steroid or drug that you might be taking. It just happens. Women get it all the time during pregnancy. Okay? So it's a normal thing. It happens. It's extremely common. The surgeries are common. Unfortunately, in Canada, sometimes you're on a wait list for months before this happens. So you might have to pay out of pocket to get a surgery done quicker so that you can be ready in time, because obviously time is of the essence. He has to get this thing done and like healed so that he has enough time to actually train, because after the surgery, it's going to be 6 weeks before he can train normal. I mean, I literally couldn't lean back and do a bench press because it would stretch out my stomach so much that it hurt. So, and I remember starting back on deadlifts. I was at, I don't know, like 700 for 5 before I got the surgery. I came back, I was at 315 for 10, and that was all out. So, I mean, you lose a dramatic amount of strength, and obviously your size goes down. So he does need the surgery to get it done as soon as possible so that he can do it. So anyway, hope that clears up a little bit about umbilical hernias. It's very common in bodybuilding and powerlifting. He needs to get the mesh. If he doesn't get the mesh, it could happen again. And wish him the best of luck. Oh, for coaching, gregdoucette@hotmail.com. And I'll be launching my new website real soon. Hopefully whatever, I might post this tomorrow, Sunday or Monday. And like the video if you liked it, and subscribe.